and welcome to another episode of This is Rico, trying to heal my inner child. This episode, I'm going to talk about the topic of doubt, and more specifically, how doubt can grow very deep roots in someone. So, first of all, I'd like to say, like I try to do in every video, I am not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, and I am not a medical professional in any way. I am just a regular person trying to navigate through life and trying to navigate what's going on in here because it's still a mess. There's still a lot. There's a lot. I feel like I've gotten some of my extension cords organized, but not all of them. But it is starting to make sense. Um, Looking back in retrospect, uh, it starts to make sense as far as why I acted and interacted the way I did. Um, so yeah, let's go back to still I'm in the high school years. So I'm 16, 17, just driving, getting out with my friends, getting a little bit of freedom because I had a car, had to start working. But then I started growing out my hair because I think I look better with long hair. And a lot of the musicians that I idolized had long hair. Now, at that time my dad was just he thought all of that was gay. All of it. If a guy has long hair, he's gay. They're all gay, all of them. And I couldn't listen to a band or watch music videos without him saying something like that about all of them. And I understand. I look back and I kind of realize that he just didn't like the music, which is okay. You can not like the music, but he shat all over all of it. Anything that I liked, he was talking shit about all of it, all the music, everything I liked. When I started growing my hair, he was against it, but he didn't tell me no. They told me no when I was younger, and then I just again did it anyway. Decided, you know what, I'm gonna let it grow. And he would always tell me stories about how all of my tios, all of my uncles, they would have thrown me out if I had long hair. They all of them, they would all throw me out for having long hair. And he told me this time and time again. And I think he was just trying to make me appreciate the fact that he hated my long hair, but he didn't throw me out. Somehow I was supposed to be thankful for that. It's just like in Guardians of the Galaxy when Yondu kept telling Peter that the rest of the crew, they wanted to eat you, and I wouldn't let them. You're supposed to be thankful for that. Thankful for, not letting the wolves come and eat me. You know what I mean? And in this time, I'm trying to figure out who I am. I'm slowly paying attention to what moves me, what what I love to listen to and watch and hear, and you know, figuring out what it is that I like. But he made fun of all of it. He made fun of my hair, he made fun of my clothes, he made fun of the music. He made fun of the music that I would try to make or bands what I would be in. He would make fun of that. He would make fun of my friends. Everything. And there was never a kind word. There was never, if he had a chance to call me dumb or stupid, he did every chance he got. Later in life, when he was much much older, he became the funny old man. He'd go to Walmart and tell jokes and make all the ladies laugh. But to me, he was still that guy that picked on that little kid, that kid that was growing up and needed somebody to guide him, but instead just kind of learned to avoid him. And quite honestly, I grew up thinking I don't want to be like him, and I wasn't. I might have some of his tendencies, but I don't behave the way he did. But I'm going to take a real quick break, and I will be back with some more of This Is Rico trying to heal my inner child. Hello, and welcome back to This Is Rico trying to heal my inner child. This episode, I'm dealing with the topic of doubt. Doubt, just how deep roots can run with doubt, and I'm going through these stories, and I'm realizing where all of that started, for me at least. Again, I'd like to remind everyone that these are just my perspectives on everything that happened in my life. My pers- my perception might be different than what reality was, but all I can talk about is what I experienced and how I felt, and that's it. So, having said that, with my dad always just kind of jokingly pushing me around, my mom just backed him up no matter what. And I think I've said this before, but I kind of feel like she was afraid of him, so she just backed him up no matter what. And years later, when I was over visiting them with my boys, and they were probably six, 5 or 6, and my dad's out in the front yard playing with them. My mom said to me, "Oh, I wish he played with you guys like that." And I don't know what the message was that she was trying to convey, but having said those words, she never really even considered how much that hurt me. Even her saying that just broke my heart. You recognize that he didn't play with us like that, and you're okay with it. You just, I wish, but whatever. It is what it is. So, you know, the doubt keeps creeping in because of stuff like that. Oh, I keep thinking to myself, maybe my clothes are funny. Maybe I should cut my hair. Maybe maybe I'm listening to the wrong kind of music. Maybe if I listen to what he likes, then maybe he'll like me better. Nah. Nah, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. I tried it. It doesn't work. People just like you less because it's almost like they can sense your inauthentic. I can't say the word. Inauthenticity. I hope they I hope I got the word out. But you know what I mean. When you're not being real, when you're not being true. I've tried that with people later in life, and it's just like they can tell. They can tell. They can tell when you're faking it. They can tell when you're real. But getting back to my parents, I was just like a dumb kid all the time. Even when I'm 17 years old, they just kind of talked to me like I was a dumb kid. They talked to everybody else like I was a dumb kid. And I always just felt like a tag along, just hanging out with my mommy. Even though I'm an adult and I drove her there, wherever we were, I was still her little baby child that needed her guidance. And that's how she treated me. And he just wanted to make himself look good by making me look bad. And that is a reoccurring theme in my lifetime as well, which I will get back to. I will touch on that as well. He just, you know, he kept himself at the head of the family by keeping everybody down. And when I say down, like put down. Instead of love and support, I got attitude and grief and doubt. I doubted myself. I doubted myself. If he is acting like this, then maybe I am doing something wrong. Maybe I am guilty of not being good enough. I cut the grass and he got mad. I'm not good enough. I put some speakers in my car and then my battery went dead and he blamed me for it. The battery just went dead. It happens. But he blamed me for it. There were a lot of times that things happened that were out of everyone's control, things that would just happen. And I would still get blamed for it, no matter what it was. It was always my fault somehow. And that just made me doubt myself all the time. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I'm not good enough. And that started way back. And I'm starting to see how all of those things contribute to that. But I'm going to take a real quick break. I'll be back with some more. This is Rico trying to heal my inner child. Welcome back to This is Rico trying to heal my inner child. I am tackling the issue of doubt, or more specifically, the doubt that was rooted into my life when I was young. And I think it all just stems back to my parents didn't like what I liked, so they attacked all of it and they ridiculed all of it. They never really supported anything. Whenever I played drums, they were annoyed with it. My mom once told me, "Why don't you quit that music?" And that cut me deep when she said that. That made me realize that I that she just did not know who I was. I was just a kid who lived in her house. And I bought my drums and I started putting stickers on the drums because I wanted to make them my drums. I still have those drums I bought those in 1990. But he scoffed at that. And how are you going to sell those drums if they have stickers on them? And I just said, I don't want to sell these drums. These are mine. But he didn't, he only saw like monetary value in things. If you have something, it's only because you're going to sell it at some time. So it's worth money. That's why he had a bunch of car parts all stacked around the back of the house. It looked like the backside of a body shop. But it was okay for him because that's money. That bumper is money. That hood is money. So we had to work around his stuff. So if it wasn't worth money, it wasn't worth anything. And they really pushed, and a lot of people still do this, is they try to define you by what you do for a living. Now, if you're one of those people that are lucky enough to do what you are truly passionate about for a living, then I applaud you. And I'm quite jealous. I think that's awesome that you could do what you love. Not a lot of people get that opportunity. A lot of people get to a point where we do what we have to do. I have to find a job, so I take the nearest one, whatever it is, and do that for a living. People tell me, "Oh, that's not a real job." It paid my bills. I survived because of it. It's a real job to me. But if you're just a cook, then you're seen as a burger flipper and way beneath everybody else, no matter how hard you work. And I've always resisted that because it's not true. You are not defined by what you do for a living. Again, like unless you do what you're passionate about. But if you have a job, that's just your job. That's just what I do to pay the bills. Ask me what I'm passionate about. Don't judge me by what I do for a living. And that happened more often than I care to admit it, honestly. And my parents pushed me to work at the mill. They pushed me to work or join the army. You should join the army. I think, quite honestly, my dad just wanted me to join the army because he wanted me to cut my hair. honestly. But that's again my perception. But he was in the army when he was young. Only difference is he was drafted and he was kind of forced into it. But then he always kind of had that little bit of arrogance because, well, I was in the army. Okay, cool. Army's not for me. If it worked out for you, great. I'm happy for you. But I'm not you. And they just for some reason pushed that I was only good enough for ditch digging and heavy lifting, which is kind of why I went into furniture moving. I'm strong. I can move heavy stuff. I didn't want to. If you asked me what my dream profession was, moving furniture would not even come close. I just did it because I had to, and they needed help. After a while, you do that for a while, and then everyone thinks you're just a furniture mover, and that's it. And they tried to define who I was. I was a goofy, fat, pudgy little kid who spent all his money whenever he had it. They just saw me as someone who needed constant guidance, despite the fact that I had to learn everything about life on my own. They still treated me like I was just a kid who needed his hand to be held by them for whatever reason. I don't know why, but they didn't see my strengths. Usually if you see someone's strength as a young child, you would want to push that. You would want to encourage that. You would want to support that. But they didn't. They didn't see any of my strengths. They only saw my weaknesses. In fact, my strengths were also weaknesses. They just thought I was, you know, a dumb kid who spent all his money. And they reminded me of that quite often, and just pushing work and money. And that's all that matters in life: work and money, work and money. All the creative stuff you do, that's just a hobby. It doesn't matter. It's just a hobby. It's a waste of time. It doesn't make you money. So I began to doubt myself. Doubt myself. Maybe I am trying the wrong thing. Maybe I should go join the army. Maybe I should just work for the mill and settle for that. All the work that I did get when I was young was they didn't pay very good anyway, and I had kind of considered it, but I held out because that's not what I want to do. I don't want to work at the mill. I don't want to join the army. I don't want that. You have to want that to do it. And I didn't want it at all. But I started doubting myself. I started doubting myself because I didn't have anyone to talk to about any of it. And again, with based on their reactions, I start to tell myself, well, they're all mad because you're not good enough. They don't care because you're not good enough. It doesn't matter because you're not good enough. You tried again, but it's not good enough. And doubt really, really grows some deep roots. So if I could say anything about doubt, and I'm going to do another chapter on this because I still have a lot more to say, is don't listen to that little voice that tells you you can't do it. Don't listen to the people around you that tell you can't do it. A lot of times they have hidden motives. I don't know. I can't speak for other people. And I'm not saying anybody around me had motives, but sometimes you have to listen to yourself. You have to listen to your heart, and you have to do what's right for you, even if it's not right for anybody else. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what's right for anybody else. You have to do what's right for you. And I've finally hit that point in my life, and I wish I had gotten here a long time ago. But the old saying, better late than never, is I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to compromise myself anymore. I'm not going to doubt myself anymore. I'm not going to listen to that little voice that says you can't do it anymore. And you could do it too. You just have to pay attention to when that voice shows up. When that voice shows up, squash it as best as you can. I didn't think I would be able to make these videos. I didn't think I would be able to continue existing. I didn't think I would be able to do any of this because I doubted myself. I based my perception on the fact that I got let go, so they didn't think I was good enough. So in reality, nobody thinks I'm good enough. So I might as well just quit. Might as well just end. And I start to think to myself, yeah, my parents were right. I'm not good enough. Everybody around me that told me I wasn't good enough was right. Everyone that treated me like I was not good enough was right. And those words carry a lot of power, and the doubt gets heavier and heavier. There are opportunities that I could have tried for but didn't because I doubted myself, because I listened to what everybody else told me. And I'm getting better at hearing that voice and confronting that voice. I let that voice tell me. Now I tell that voice to simmer down. And that's all you can do. And that's really all you can do. I just wasted so much of my life trying to please other people, trying to make everybody happy, just for them to treat me like I was their servant. And I compromised myself a lot. And a lot of that was because of the doubt. The doubt kept me from trying things, kept me from saying things, kept me from standing up for myself, defending myself. It kept me from a lot of things because I believed everything that they told me, instead of listening to myself, saying, no, that's not true. That's not me. So I am going to conclude this video. I'm going to do another chapter because I have a little more to say on this, on the issue of doubt. And I'm, to wrap things up, more of a recap, I guess, having grown up with really no guidance and kind of flying blind through all of this, no real love or support. I'm doubting myself now because of everybody's behavior towards me. Never realizing that I can sense their emotions. When I come home, I could tell my dad was going to be mad because I just knew. I could feel it. And I just thought I was nervous all the time. I thought I was just a nervous kid. But, it's made me doubt myself. And I guess I try to live my life without any regrets, but I do have one. And it's letting that voice of doubt control me. But not anymore. Not anymore. It's still there. I haven't squashed it. But I've gotten better at it. I've gotten better at making it quiet. So, and I hope that if you're dealing with an issue like that, then you can do the same. I hope that. And making these videos, I just hope that we can all understand that we're not alone with any of these issues. I know that there's other people out there that have experienced the same thing. So my only hope with making these videos is that we can connect and, realize we're not alone. That's all. And it's helping me. It is quite cathartic to talk about a lot of this stuff and to actually dive kind of deep into it and see where a lot of my behavior comes from, a lot of my reactions and interactions comes from. And it's, some of it makes sense, not all of it, but some. But anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your support. I love you all. And I just want to say that I will be back very soon with another episode of This is Rico, trying to heal my inner child. Thanks.